J&V Restaurant Supply Team with Captain Darian White. Cola Bad Bear with rebounds.
Miami.
Madison Jackson assists. And your shooter from downtown, Leah Beatty. J&V Restaurant Supply. Savor the difference.
In just a few minutes, small business owners can now sign up for Blackfoot Communication Services. Whether it's dependable voice options or internet services, sign up simply by visiting blackfootsmallbusiness.com. Click on the services you wish, select an installation time and date, and you're done. Small business services at the touch of your fingers. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications and blackfootsmallbusiness.com.
Afternoon, everybody. Colter, Nuanez, Skyline Sports, SkylineSportsMT.com. Thanks for following along. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Great place to find some of the new and improved content that we're producing here at Skyline Sports. One new addition. If you've been following along during our 8 years, one of the things we put a high priority on early each week is a first look at the opponents for each, the Bobcats and the Grizzlies, Montana State. This one will give you a first look and the players to watch for the UC Davis Aggies. They come to Bozeman on Saturday evening, 8:15 p.m. kickoff on Saturday night from Bobcat Stadium. An ESPNU game. Should be one of the best games of the week in the Big Sky Conference. Myself, Brooks Nuanez, will both be over in Bozeman. Andrew Houghton, a couple other people from our team will also be making their way to Pocatello for Montana's game at Idaho State. But here's just a rundown of UC Davis. The Aggies been in the Big Sky Conference now for 10 years. Crazy to think that. Dan Hawkins leading his alma mater, and Hawkins has done a good job there. UC Davis was a playoff team a year ago. They also shared the league title back in 2018, and so he has helped UC Davis experience some of its best Division I success since moving up to the subdivision 16, 17 years ago. Hawkins 31-24 overall at UC Davis, 21-16 in conference play, and last year they finished 16th in the country in the national poll. They were a preseason top 25 in one of the polls this year, but they've had an absolutely brutal schedule, one of the toughest early schedules in the Big Sky so far. They opened up at Cal with a 34-13 loss. Then they took number 2 South Dakota State down to the wire before falling 24-22, a missed two-point conversion that would have tied the game. One of the determining factors in Brookings, South Dakota. They got their first and only win against San Diego, 43-13 to wrap up the non-conference. And then last week in one of the best Big Sky Conference games of the weekend, a nightcap there in Davis. Weber State comes in there and completely contains UC Davis, 17-12. The Wildcats win. Weber State remains undefeated, 4-0 overall and 1-0 in Big Sky play. And Davis sits at 1-3 coming into Bozeman. That said, it's a talented team. I think UC Davis has one of, at least on paper, the best offensive lines in the league. Don't look now, though. Montana State, which I thought was going to be one of their biggest question marks this year, their offensive line is playing incredibly well and sort of defying and even exceeding expectations. But our first player to watch on offense for UC Davis is Jake Parks. He's a multiple-year starter, a guy who was a freshman All-American, and now here he is as a senior. He has been a first-team All-Big Sky selection 2 years in a row. He's working on a streak of 34 consecutive starts, 6'3", 300-pounder, and definitely one of the best interior offensive linemen, not only in the conference, but in the country. Connor Pedic also expected to be one of the best interior guys. But then I think, I don't know, that it's hard to follow the news at UC Davis because the Davis Enterprise has not put a high priority on reporting much on them. And so Pedic was supposed to be a returning starter at center. He's no longer on the roster. I don't really know why, but one of the reasons I thought UC Davis was going to have one of the best lines in the league is because of those two guys anchoring the center of it. You look around the rest of the roster, though, one of the best running backs in the country, Alonzo Gilliam. He's a guy that entered the transfer portal as a grad transfer this last offseason, but decided to return to school. A couple weeks ago, he became UC Davis's all-time leading rusher, and he was the preseason Big Sky Conference Offensive Player of the Year coming into his senior year. He's on the Walter Payton Award watch list. He's been a multiple-time All-League selection, a freshman All-American in 2018, a sophomore All-American in 2019, a second-team All-American during the spring season in 2021, and a first-team All-Conference selection a year ago. 1,179 yards from scrimmage a year ago. He's always been really good at catching the ball out of the backfield as well. So a three-down back, one of the most durable guys in the league. He's gone over 100 yards 3 times in 4 games so far here during his senior season. He's averaging a hefty yards per carry. He has 365 yards rushing already. So Alonzo Gilliam, certainly one of the best in the Big Sky Conference, a rare 4-year starter in college football. The last guy I'll give you to watch on the UC Davis offense is Miles Hastings, who's their sophomore quarterback. He started in the spring, was his first year starting, the spring of 2021, that is. And he was pretty good in that amount of action. Last year, he started 5 games at quarterback for Davis, ended up throwing for 1,173 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. This year so far, he's been very, very good, very accurate. He has thrown for 1,041 yards, has thrown for at least 242 yards in each game, threw 3 touchdowns each against South Dakota State and San Diego. Last week, he threw it almost 60 times, and he completed 37 of them, but Weber State was doing such a good job of keeping everything in front of him. No plays over the top, no real room to run after the catch. So a testament to Weber State, their talent, their personnel, and the way that they operate defensively. A great scheme as well, one of the best secondaries in the country. Defensively, I watched the UC Davis South Dakota State game back on a replay. I didn't have a roster or my computer or my phone in front of me, so I wasn't able to identify specific names of guys, but overall their defense, I thought, really, really good. I mean, they fly around, they fly to the football, and then when you break down the statistical accomplishments of the defense so far, they got some guys that are putting up some pretty good numbers. Leading tackler for Davis coming into this game is Rex Connors. He's a redshirt freshman defensive back out of Southern California, 6'1", 203-pound safety. He has 28 total tackles to lead the team. He also has a team-leading 2 interceptions. Devon King is their top corner. He is a multiple-year starter there at UC Davis, 5'10", 170 pounds. He's their second leading tackler. He also has 4 tackles for loss, which is second on the team as well. He also has a couple pass breakups. The top linebacker for UC Davis is Teddy Buchanan. Great name if you're playing in the FCS. Hasn't played, though, since the South Dakota State game, so I'm not sure what the injury status is. Again, it's kind of hard to follow the news coming out of some of these Big Sky Conference schools. But when he's been healthy, he's been good. Just 2 games started, but 18 total tackles, third on the team. And the top defensive lineman is Zach Kennedy. He's a 6'6", 260-pounder out of Eastlake High School in Sammamish, Washington. So a recruiting bed that both Montana and Montana State very familiar with, but they got him to go down to UC Davis, and he's been the best pass rusher so far for the Aggies. He's got 4.5 tackles for loss and just a single sack, just 6 sacks overall for UC Davis. So they play sort of a bend but don't break defense. They really run to the ball well, though. They have great speed, great explosiveness, and they should be a stout challenge. I think this is going to be a huge game for both sides of this thing. It's a playoff game for UC Davis already at 1-3. I don't think they can afford to lose again unless they want to truly have their backs against the wall and have to run the table. For Montana State, can they parlay the momentum? Can they capitalize on the momentum of a 38-35 win at Eastern Washington last week? We'll have a story about a little bit about UC Davis as an institution and some fun facts about the school in our first look, like we do each week, along with this video. So keep on following along, keep on subscribing, keep on rate, review, all that sort of stuff. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Big Sky Breakdown on any of your various podcast platforms. And keep on reading SkylineSportsMT.com. Skyline Sports, every day, every season.
Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any town pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.